wanted to take a step back. I know all of us are constantly thinking about AI taking our jobs, and I'm here to do the exact opposite. Basically, figure out how do we make ourselves stronger and be a part of this competition, right? But before we get there, I do have a confession to make. I have an addiction, and that addiction is very strong. To a level where if I'm bored, even for say a minute, I run back to that addiction and take a dopamine hit. And unlike other addictions like smoking or alcohol, I don't see any physical contaminations. So it's even harder for me to really understand the depth to which this addiction has been affecting me. I'm talking about this, my phone. Alright? And yeah, I'm looking at such stupid things only all the time, a cat falling down from somewhere, and it makes me happy. And I try to spend only 2 minutes on it, but I don't know, somehow the 2 minutes is always equal to 2 hours, right? It has gotten down to a point where, of course, these are the applications that I'm spending time on, but it has actually gotten down to a point where the more the number of screens, the better. Even if I'm not focusing on any one of them, I want all the screens in my house to be turned on while I'm eating. Does it sound familiar to you guys? Yes. How many of you? Okay, alright. So all of us are addicted, unfortunately. And you know what's happening? At what cost are we giving ourselves into this addiction? I know a lot of you might have heard about this study that came in 2015, which said that our attention span, in 2015, okay, we're in 2025, that our attention span has reduced and it has become lesser than a goldfish. So a goldfish might as well be my manager, right? So goldfish can pay attention to you for 9 seconds. You will pay attention to something for only 8 seconds. 2015. I don't know what is the scene now. Alright, but yeah, that's not the only thing. I don't know, the image is not loading, there was an image over here. Okay. So, it's not just attention span, right? Our creative genius is taking a hit. How many of us, right, as soon as we find a second of time when nobody is interacting with us, nobody is asking us any questions, we immediately take out a phone and we're scrolling. All of us, right? We are, if we're standing, say, on the road, very harmful by the way, yes, scroll, see one cat falling at least. So, we're doing that, right? We're waiting for somebody, if somebody's talking to us, even then we're listening to them, but hardly understanding what they're saying. Because our minds are always like, okay, I did not scroll for 5 minutes. That's the effect it's having. Mental resilience. So, I know we are of the generation, and anybody who attended my session the last time understands why I'm very much obsessed with behaviors. But a previous generation, we said that our parents are like, they yell at us for no reason. Like, they're always angry. But there's a study that says that this generation is actually 50% more frustrated at things because they don't get the rewards. You're instantly seeking for rewards. Which means your mental resilience has nothing to do now. You can't wait for a reward. And our parents waited 20 years, 30 years for a reward. Right? Okay, attention span, we've already spoken about it. I hope I still have your attention. Right? Alright. Intellectual quotient. This is a very interesting study. Again, I don't know how true that is, but I found it out yesterday. Which is, if you spend, say, 5 hours a day on your phone, there are chances that your IQ will drop by 10 points. Well, my IQ is already low. I can't afford to lose 10 more points of it, right? And the biggest thing is basically, and I'm pretty sure that you guys have also realized this, is kind of becoming socially, awkward. So you're kind of becoming socially awkward. I don't want to ask you all what is the screen time that you have today. I'll tell mine. It's about 4.5 hours, a lot. And I still don't choose to go out and meet my friends. I tell them that I don't have time. Well, 4 hours of my time I just spend on scrolling, but I won't meet people. Well, okay, and it's just amplifying. And interestingly, all these behavioral skills, like behavioral tendencies, are related to ADHD. Our parents always thought it was pagal hai. Yeah, they were right. We are getting there. Okay, not pagal, but yeah, we're getting there. So, cool, okay. Now that I've scared you guys enough, can you give me your phones? And take them out. Okay, nobody's going to give me that. Okay, so, but yeah, that's not the purpose, right? If I'm standing over here, it means that I'm building onto something. And I actually am. What I'm trying to do here today is, and I recently started this study, so it's a combination of a lot of things that I've been doing in the past couple of weeks, is that I'm trying to figure out how do we get back the powers that we had in the past? How do we increase our attention span? How do we become at least better than a goldfish, right? Go back to 2000 at least. And this can only be done if we control our behavior, if we start training ourselves in an opposite way, right? And this is the framework that I'll be talking about. Metamorphosis. I guess all of us are familiar with this word, right? Metamorphosis, when you transform, the cocoon transforms into a butterfly, it goes through various stages, and at various stages it adds character to itself, and then eventually it becomes a butterfly. If you go and search metamorphical thinking online, there are a couple of more sections within it. However, I'm not 100% okay with them. It's a very new study, so I've extracted what I feel makes sense in life, and I'm going to present that to you guys in terms of superpowers. Alright? And believe me, these are actually not superpowers, it's just the powers that were there we have forgotten. It's like all of us are Hanumanjis, we've forgotten the powers that we had. Somebody has to come and remind them back to us. Alright, so let's start with superpower number 1. How many of you thought about your phone, by the way? Nobody? You have your phone in your hand.
It's just a second brain, but it's not the superpower.
Alright, okay. So, blueprint of attention. How many of you, and I'm including myself over here, as soon as you have to complete a task, you're like, okay, I'll get rid of my phone and put it in some airplane mode or silent mode, put it elsewhere and start working. How many of you do that? Right? And no point of me, right? I'll just go, you're already doing that. It's not a superpower. Right? But I tell you, okay, the point is that we have to start harnessing that superpower. When do you harness it? How do you harness it? Right? Okay, let's do an exercise. All of you, close your eyes and think of the most productive workspace that you can sit in. Be it the corner of your house, with a plant, the sunlight coming in. Look at that for a couple of seconds. What makes you productive? Which environment makes you very productive? How many of you found an answer? There you go. So, this blueprint of attention is not really about switching off your phone and going to a space and working. It's about building that space. And building it to a point where even if that space is absent physically, you can always close your eyes and go back to it. So in office, if somebody is coming and troubling you, you're like, okay, I don't need 25 minutes to gain back my attention. I just need a couple of hours because I'll close my eyes and I'll transform over there. Right? So, yes, you are the architect of your own attention. Nobody in this world can actually disturb your attention span. There's one more catch with it. Why do you believe that today, okay, while I was working, I realized I have to switch off my phone and start working? Why do you think you do that? Why do you not do it every day? Any answers? What pressure is there because of which you are trying to execute that behavior? Exactly. So time is the biggest factor that comes into the picture to drive your behavior into a very specific way. Alright? Okay? So I will give you 5 superpower tasks also, by the way, for you to take it with yourselves to your homes. And the first one is engineer the environment that helps you cultivate focus. Go, maybe move your desk, figure out, put everything aside from your table, no books, nothing, just a notebook maybe. Put it beside a window. Find a spot that actually makes you be more focused. Alright? And yeah, put deadlines to your work, otherwise it probably won't work. It's 50% there. Okay. So there's a very good quote that I read recently. This is, I think, from this book called Art of War by Sun Tzu. It says, dance like no one is watching. Oh, not from that, that's another one. Okay. Even like it might be read out loud in a quote someday. And work like your phone is dead. The last part has been added recently because we are of a new generation, right? Okay, here go. Superpower number 2. Again, you already have it, which is entrepreneurial mindset. And why do I say that all of you have it already? Let me ask a question. How many of you have posted at least one picture on Instagram or on WhatsApp or on Facebook? At least one. All of us? This issue is not for this person here. Alright. So, all of us have posted a picture, right? Regardless of the fact that we knew we'd probably be judged, regardless of the fact that we knew that people are going to look at it. But we did it. Which means we already overcame the barrier which most of the entrepreneurs leave behind. Which is, I don't care, I am the creator, I am not the consumer. Alright? And that mindset, when I say be the entrepreneur of your life, I'm not saying start your own companies. No, maybe you can. I'm not saying not to. But I'm not essentially asking you to just do that. Every task that you execute on a daily basis, at least one of them, try to think as if that your life depends on that task. Only one, not all. Okay? When you start thinking of it like that, right, yes, my life depends on it. That's when you leave your consumer mentality and you start becoming a creator. And then you empathize a little bit more. That adds another character to your behavior. Alright? So, I actually wanted to, before you do this, I actually wanted to ask you guys, like, all of you are using Instagram, some applications, right? And if it was given to you, like a chance is given to you to create something that helps you better use that app, what would you do? Let's take the first superpower and this superpower, combine them and see what happens. Close your eyes, go to that focus area and see what answer do you get. Give me just 15 seconds. Any interesting ideas? You'll get there. But did you see the difference when you start thinking of it like this way? I am not here for entertainment only. I am here to figure out how can I be entertained more. That's the shift, that's the transformation that will help you look at your skills differently or apply them differently. Alright, the third superpower. First principle thinking. Okay, when all of us were little, right, we used to keep asking our parents, what does this mean? Then they'll give an answer. What does that mean? Then they'll give an answer. What does that mean? They'll give an answer. You remember that? Oh, you're very little, you won't remember that. I'm pretty sure all of us have that one nephew or one child in our lives who will read our heads until we keep telling them until that person does not have a question. So we were born with first principles thinking. And while we grew up, we actually stopped asking questions. In fact, the study actually says that your creative intelligence is at 98% when you're 2 years old. And it comes down to 5% in 5 years. In just 5 years. because you're not getting bored. You have some stimuli always. And somebody yells at you, stop asking me more questions. And I have also killed that curiosity in people. I'm pretty sure some of us also have killed the curiosity in people. You have to revive that curiosity. Figure out the basic principles. In fact, let's talk about this. All of us have heard about Elon Musk, right? Very fancy dude. And recently, again, apart from bringing back Sunita Williams from space, apart from that, there's this thing that he experimented with chopstick hands where the rocket would come down and he'd catch the rocket. Started making reusable rockets. Reusable rockets. Before we used reusable rockets, people thought that rockets would go away and never come back, of course. But the cost that Elon Musk brought it down was to 50%. And you know why he was able to do that? Because he broke apart the rocket. He went down to the point where he actually started studying the raw materials used for that rocket. Every invention in the history has actually happened because somebody thought about the first principles. Somebody went down and kept asking why, at least 5 times. 5 whys people can relate with me right now. But somebody went down and kept asking why, until there was no answer. And that was the problem. All of us might have heard this very famous quote from Thomas Edison or Albert Einstein that if I have to solve the problem and I have 100 hours, I'll spend 98 hours in finding the problem. Right? So yeah, you had that when you were little. You had that nerve in you and we purposefully killed it. Alright, so I have another superpower task for you guys. There is any fundamental problem. The first was what? Create an area that is like you can focus in. Start thinking like a creative entrepreneur. And the third is, as soon as they both come in, this will automatically start happening. This is the framework to support your second goal. Right? Keep layering these frameworks on top of each other and you'll start seeing a change in your behavior. Practice it. Start with saying, okay, we'll do it for 1 hour. I know we won't be able to do it for more than 5 minutes. But 5 minutes is way better than 9 seconds. Right? Alright. This is from Science from Art of War. It says, if you know the enemy and you know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. You'll always know what's going to happen. Either that person will win or you'll win. But you'll know. We are never afraid of what's going to happen. We are always afraid of the outcome. But if we know the outcome, it's okay. We're good. We'll play it. Right? Superpower number 4. Listening deeply. Alright? It's a very interpersonal skill. I am telling you, I don't have that. I had that maybe in the past. Now I've lost it. And before we go deeper, let's do this, right? If you're sitting with somebody, just talk to them, listen to what they're saying. Just decide between two people who's going to speak. Just listen to them for 5 minutes. Look into their eyes and listen to them for 5 minutes. And the objective, not 5 minutes, sorry, 30 seconds, I don't think we have that much time. 30 seconds, listen to what happened with their lives since morning or any specific event. And summarize it with an emotion. Look into their eyes and see. Okay, I think you have 30 seconds. Let's start. This is again a new study. It says that these days when you're listening to somebody, you're actually hearing their words, but you're not understanding what they're saying. So if somebody comes back and asks you the question on what they were telling you, you probably will be lost. Go and observe if that is happening with you guys or not. Right? That's another very recent development in this field of people changing behavior because of Instagram is happening. Congratulations to us. But, and in fact, yeah, one more thing again, and all of these, when you think deeply, you can connect them to how you behave at your office space and make use of this framework to excel professionally also. In fact, Google had a very big study that they ran to figure out what is it that employees feel the safest in. Are they really happy when people are from Ivy League institutes, or are they happy when there are only developers in the team? When are the teams happy? And it's when they have psychological safety. It's when they feel heard, right? So, in the future or even now, I'm pretty sure a lot of us are managers and will become managers in the future. The biggest power that you can harness in your team and not just in yourself is make everybody feel heard. Alright? So, yeah. Now, I don't know how many of you suffer from that thing that I just talked about, but anytime you're talking to somebody, try to put down your phone, look them into their eyes, and behave like a journalist. Think of, okay, I have to listen to everything, and I might have to report it back somewhere. Right? Or you can think of everybody as your lovers. Do you? I prefer being a journalist. But try to do that. Practice deep listening. This will also help you with your first, second, third framework, which is finding the right problem. A lot of researchers just do this, nothing else. They only listen. And they're able to understand, oh, this is why you said that. Oprah became famous in her shows only because she would react to people emotionally. She would understand what they're saying and then, oh, you're going through this emotion. Just acknowledge it. Alright? Seek first to understand and then to be understood. The other quote is, you have 2 ears, 1 mouth. You do the math. Alright. So, superpower number 5. Break mental barriers. Capabilities by themselves are limitless virtues. Every norm that was ever established was established because somebody was only able to get there. So this guy, Roger Bannister. Okay, before I tell about him, so for a very long time, scientists thought, or maybe the medical professionals thought that nobody can run a mile under 4 minutes. A mile is about like a little bit in between, near 2 kilometers. They said nobody can run it under 4 minutes. Until this guy did it under 4 minutes. And then because this guy did it under 4 minutes, it became a norm for every athlete to do it under 4 minutes. And now every athlete who is actually a sprinter is able to do this very well. They actually said that if you try to run under 4 minutes, your heart would explode. They went down to saying that. And still that guy ran. Imagine if that was true. Hearts would have been like, they would keep exploding here and there, right? Point is that if you think in your mind even for a second that this is my limitation and this is where I have to stop, you might just stop there. You might never be able to overcome it. Think about any problem which you think is stopping you, right? And imagine if that point, that specific thing that is stopping you was not there. That concept did not exist, right? Very personal story. Until 2 years ago, I never thought that I can run. I was a sprinter in school, stopped running. And then I thought that since I was in 8th, I think, I never thought that I will be able to run an 8,000 meter race. An 8,000 meter race is about 8 kilometers. So, to practice for an 8 kilometer race, you have to at least run twice of it in practice, right? You have to run 16 kilometers for an 8 kilometers race to perform in an 8 kilometers. I never did that. No, I'm a sprinter. I just do 200 meters, 100 meters, I'm fine with it. Until very recently, when I remembered, okay, why did I ever not try running for 8 kilometers? And then I just started running one day. I know I'll run. And now every weekend, I'm at least running 15 kilometers. There's nothing that is stopping me. No shoes, nothing. You can run anywhere. Your legs, even if you don't wear shoes, you can run. Our toes are biologically designed that way that you can keep walking and running the entire day. Right? So if I thought, okay, I did not have the right shoes, that was a mental barrier that I created for myself, so I never get out of my comfort zone. There's another book from David Goggins called You Can't Hurt Me. I don't know if anybody knows about David Goggins. So he's Ironman 100 kilometers, he would run 100 miles, he would run, and he has done this pull-up challenge where his muscles actually started burning. He's superhuman. And he actually says, when I feel that I have to give up now. That's when he knows that he has reached 40% of his capacity. And then he says, there's 60% in me that's still remaining. And that's how he has done all these challenges and has succeeded, right? Yes, the last task. If you think that there's something that you can't do, go back to your focus area. Think about it like an entrepreneur. See if there is any research or listening that you have to do. Then break the mental barriers and say, okay, can I do it now or not? And you will be able to do it. So, yeah, this is a very, read it again. Whether you think you can or you can't, both are right. Both are right. You have to choose it. Which one you choose. Okay? So, yeah, the 5 superpowers, which were not actually superpowers, they're supernatural. Not supernatural, supernatural. Are actually the ones that can help us go back in exhibiting the behavior we were meant to exhibit. And stop scrolling probably for even 5 minutes. So it's like, if after today's session, all of you are able to reduce your screen time by 5 minutes also, I think it will be a win for me. And if you're able to do any of this for 5 minutes from that time, that's going to be a double win for me. So, yeah, this is what I had to speak to you guys about. I know nothing AI. I deliberately wanted to not talk about AI because I know you probably have been hearing about AI for 2 years now. Not today. For 2 years now. And a little bit about me. I am a product manager and a designer at Zenity, and I have co-founded Infinative. It's been running for 6 years now. Some less projects already up. This is who I am. Find me on LinkedIn. Find me on Instagram. And we talk. Any questions? I don't think you have questions, but I'm very happy to answer if you have. Yes.
One question about your professional journey. You said you were a designer first and then you transitioned to the product manager. So would you please give more insights onto that? Because the transition part of it. I'm Miss Falcon.
So you're a designer right now?
I'm not a designer. I talk to a business analyst.
Oh, perfect. Alright, who knew that the question would come from this day? Okay. Alright. So, I think the reason I don't feel of it like a transition, or even my managers don't feel like I'm transitioning, is because my personal set of skills are entrepreneurial. So, no matter what your profession is, no matter if you're a designer, if you're a developer, engineer, business analyst for that matter, strong sales, but if you work on anything as if it is your job to make it successful, then the tag, that profession doesn't matter. You can easily move and transition, personally, right? So you don't have to build a new skill to be able to transition. Of course, engineering, you may need to learn tools, that's fine. Tools are only medium, remember that. When it comes to making somebody else accept it, you have accepted it that I can transition from any role to any role. But that's not enough, right? I'll go to my manager and say, make me the CEO tomorrow, I feel like it. Don't do that, right? He also has to feel like you are a CEO material. So that actually also lies in the fact that when you are exhibiting these traits, you have to learn to market yourself. Little bit, you have to market yourself. You have to figure out the right manager. You have to figure out, okay, if I'm doing this, will I be able to explain the solution myself? Just that. Start explaining your solutions yourself. Because you're the only person who can explain them the best. Not saying that take away credit, no. That's not it. When we're talking about pure things, those things don't matter. So make sure when you're explaining a solution that you have formed, you explain. Once you start marketing yourself that way, it's when it's easier to convince anybody that yeah, I can move this. Frankly, I did not want to transition to a product manager role. I love being a designer. I love doing interaction design. I think I'm a very good individual contributor. But because of whatever reasons I was pushed into this product management role. So if you really want to transition, Start thinking like an entrepreneur and start marketing your stuff. That should help you. It's a long journey, it will happen. Any more questions on this slide?